I don't sleep much. I can get an hour and a half sleep, I'm good. For a night, it doesn't matter to me. So I'm always out. So I have thousands of pictures of this phenomenon, Steve.
It started on the east sky, it rose up, and it brought out a sense of, what am I witnessing? This is phenomenal.
A newly found celestial event happening in the northern skies.
A group of Aurora Chasers in Alberta, Canada, started noticing this. What in the world is this?
This actually is a pretty big discovery, like bigger than I had hoped, because there's so much more to research and to explain.
The first time I saw it, it's still like, I still remember that time, I screaming and jumping.
And I'm just trying to catch it, right? Because I know that this is important.
Photography started as a hobby for me. I never thought I would be running into scientists at NASA.
The science behind it and being able to play a part in that, even in a very small way, by capturing it. And, you know, there's a sense of connectivity to the other people that share the same passion.
Another really exciting thing about this is it's largely an Alberta story. And it's something that I didn't even know about, 2 years ago. So I'm loving this.
The Alberta Aurora Chasers are a group of people who look for the aurora, who try to help other people in the city, around the province, to be able to find and know when to go out and see the northern lights.
What I was getting out of Alberta Aurora Chasers initially was just having something in common with people. Everybody wants to be connected and part of what's going on, and it seemed like a good fit.
I looked for groups and I found the Alberta Aurora Chasers. It's such a giving group. They've got so much knowledge. People come on and they join and they ask questions. And it doesn't matter whether you have the most expensive camera or a cheap one, it doesn't matter.
I don't use fancy equipment, and people are kind of shocked that I can get good pictures with, middle-of-the-line equipment. So they're interested in that because they can afford that kind of equipment and take beautiful pictures.
When I joined the Aurora Chasers, the big thing you could get was information about better idea when the aurora would occur. I lost my job 3 years ago, which was a lot of grief, but at the same time, that my mission was, I said, if I'm going to have no job, at least I'm going to go take some good pictures.
We try to help our community understand the science behind what's causing the northern lights so they can know when to go out and see it on their own, so they're not just waiting for people to give them a prediction.
The aurora is the real name for the process for these lights in the sky. And we have the aurora in the northern hemisphere, we call aurora borealis. We have aurora in the southern hemisphere, we call it the aurora australis. And more commonly, we call it the northern lights and the southern lights.
The sun is giving us charged particles all the time. And sometimes the sun is more active and it can let out a huge glitter bomb of charged particles. They actually follow the sun's magnetic field and go out in space. That's called the solar wind. That travels 93 million miles to Earth. The solar wind interacts with the Earth's magnetic field, and the magnetic field stretches like a rubber band. And then when it releases, those particles can explosively come back toward Earth, and then it hits the upper atmosphere and loses energy as it goes down lower in altitude.
You usually shoot auroras facing your cameras towards a north-northeastern direction. Steve was on the opposite side, on the western direction, more coinciding with the Milky Way.
My eyes used to always be peeled to the north. Right? You're always looking at the north because that's a great show happening up there, and you appreciate it. But now I find myself, it's like, okay, so now we're not just looking north, now we're looking east and west. So we're looking at more of the sky.
The chase really starts when we start watching the sun, and we start watching the data. We start looking to see what's happening on the sun. Is there a solar flare? Is there a coronal hole? Is that affecting the solar wind between the Earth and the sun? And then we start watching the sky to see where are we going to be able to find the clear sky. You can end up driving around quite a bit.
And I mean, every night I go to the Aurora Chaser Facebook group and I look and see and if there's a thread set up for the night.
So it usually starts off maybe around 7, 8 in the evening, a couple of hours before it starts to get dark. So people start commenting about clear skies. Initially, that's what we look for.
How does the data look, Clarence? It's getting brighter. Okay, go within 100 kilometers. List. Let's give her a go.
If there's clouds one night but Alberta isn't covered, we kind of rely on each other for clear sky. It's not just talking about aurora, it's like, where do we go to see it? So yeah, it's very helpful just to see people from all the different areas of Alberta kind of chiming in with what they're seeing.
Pants on, and that means it's on. It's time to get out there and get out there now.
Pants-on thing actually started in Alberta Aurora Chasers.
Well, that started with Richard. Richard one night said, "Oh, the data doesn't look very good. I've only got one leg in my pants." And we thought that was so funny, so we started saying, well, are you going to put your pants on tonight, or are you going to leave them off?
He does have a little bit of a higher standards of viewing aurora. When the comment comes pants on, you know it's a night worth going out.
You're in the middle of nowhere, but you're still talking to people. One of the magics of social media that allows us to be able to communicate with each other, and we can share what we're seeing across the sky. 10 or 20 different people say, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And they'll be from 500 kilometers apart.
It was about 3-4 years ago, and I was just driving back the way you come into the resort, and I look out to the side and I thought, oh my God, what is that? There was a line right across the whole sky, kind of pink.
It's really easy to miss Steve at times because as photographers, if you're going to shoot the aurora, you're always pointing your camera in the opposite direction.
It took me almost a year until I really captured a nice diff. And I was at the right time, at the right place.
Steve is kind of like that added bonus, you know, that rare thing that'll come out every once in a while. So just always watch for it.
The first time we saw it, we reached out to some of the other communities and we asked if they had ever seen it before, if they knew what it was. And they told us, oh, it's a proton arc. So we started calling it a proton arc.
I have a friend named Liz McDonald who works for NASA, and we have every Friday afternoon a thing we call a colloquium where somebody comes and gives a talk to our department. And so I invited Liz to come and give a colloquium on her work on Aurorasaurus. And these colloquia are, you know, generally kind of lackluster events. And when Liz came, I remember walking into the room with her, and the room was packed. And not only that, it was packed with people that I didn't know who they were. And I sort of looked at her and said, "This is kind of odd, Liz. I don't know who these people are." And she said, "Oh, they're the Alberta Aurora Chasers."
The Alberta Aurora Chasers really turned out in force and took time out of their day jobs and were really awesome.
And what I discovered was this is a group of remarkably talented night sky photographers. And these people are taking the most beautiful pictures of the northern lights that I had ever seen. And so he takes out this image of this beautiful purple mauve streak across the sky. And I said, wow, I mean, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's not the proton aurora, but I don't know what that is.
It became kind of clear that there was a public understanding of something called a proton arc, not a definition for this in the science.
I'm a little bit facetious, so I proposed to the community, we call it Steve.
And he was referring to this children's film called Over the Hedge.
In the movie, the animals they encounter a really big thing that they don't know what it is. It's a big hedge, but they don't know what that is. And one of the animals said, let's call it Steve. And then everyone liked it, everyone felt comfortable.
And then people just started calling it Steve on the Alberta Aurora Chasers page. And over the next few months, you'd see people posting Steve was high in the sky over Alberta last night. I saw Steve over Lac des Arcs last night. And it was a fun thing. And that's what people were calling it at that point in time.
The extraordinary thing to the space physics side of it is that was never known to have, to be visible. Like off-the-shelf cameras, normal cameras, are sensitive enough to pick it up. There are also a wonderful ground-based array of cameras across Canada fielded by the University of Calgary and Eric Donovan's group there. Steve was actually not showing up in those cameras as obviously as photographers.
What we had came up with was the idea that if we could find what Steve looked like in my images, then we could bring all of the scientific tools to bear that we have and figure out what this thing is. We started seeing this thing, this little narrow feature, and we thought this might really be Steve. We had to have some confirmation, and I did something that I never thought I would do as part of my job as a scientist, and I went to my computer, logged on to Facebook, went to the Alberta Aurora Chasers page, and then said, did anybody see Steve last night?
I showed him a photo of when it was just this purple streak in the sky. A ribbon of gas was dancing across the sky.
This meant that this thing that we had in our image was absolutely, without a question, without any doubt, Steve.
What we now know is that we can see this on the ground, and so then we can determine how long Steve lasts and literally how long it is, which is thousands of kilometers across Canada.
And we could see in the data, the magnetic field was not consistent with electrons coming down the magnetic field lines. And so this is really different than anything we would normally call aurora.
We cannot actually fully predict when Steve's will come out. There must be some reasons that Steve only occurs some of the time, but we don't fully understand what all of those are yet. So citizen science is actually a great way to observe that.
And so it's really exciting for me because I'm going to actually be able to contribute to the growth of the knowledge about Steve.
It's fascinated people around the world, and it's created a lot of interest in science, a lot of interest in the aurora. It's also helped people to realize that they can also make contributions to scientific research.
And I've given talks to kids where, I see kids who aren't interested in the talk, not interested in the science at all, suddenly perk up when I say, and we discovered something called Steve. So I really like the name Steve.
Scientists are always driven by passion for their naming convention. So there is an acronym for it. So they've still kept it Steve. So Steve is now called.
We don't know it. But...
Yeah.
Steve is a strong thermal.
So Steve stands for Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement.
One of the things that we need to do now is to move us forward scientifically. We have to get a spectrum, and that will help us understand the chemistry that's going on in this process. And so a professor built an inexpensive spectrograph and given it to John Anderson, who's really one of the most prolific and one of the most talented of the Alberta Aurora Chasers. In order to do this without someone like John, we would have to spend $500,000, which we didn't have. What we have is this dynamic thing where this guy is driving around with this inexpensive instrument, and this thing really could make a significant advancement in science.
And then I'm watching him like a hawk. Starting to look like Steve. And I'm just trying to catch it, right? Because I know that this is important. And then it finally, poof, it came out halfway up the horizon. So if you're looking there, it would have been about halfway up. It starts to fade. I went, oh, geez. And then within 2 or 3 minutes, it went right across right through the whole sky and got really bright. It got so bright you could see the color purple. So I was shooting so fast, I got, and then it was gone. It was exciting because it's like a job, right? It's like, it's a mission, it's a job, but it's exciting because I actually caught it. So it's like, yes, I did it.
Steve's, it's a great community story of citizen science coming together, but it is a mystery that still remains to be unraveled, I guess.
Maybe they can figure out what it is. It'd be really neat to be part of something so great.
There's a huge shroud of mystery to it still that is exciting to be part of.
Aurora Chasers group, they already said, Aurora can make you like addicted, and it's like a drug. So it's more like a night owl or zombie life if you fall into it, and it's hard to get out of it. And I believe that, yeah.
I think it puts you in a completely different world, and it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain what it is, but it is a very mesmerizing experience.
Yeah, I followed my dream. And I'm sure some people think maybe I'm, going out in the middle of the night taking pictures. But it makes me feel good. It's what I want to do. Yeah.
One guy told me, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. And I'm like, no. It does take a special kind of person to stay up all night and then get up in the morning and function. It takes a strong person, I think, to do that.
Being part of the citizen science aspect of it is probably one of the most exciting things for me. It's like a dream come true. I'm a big nerd.
I've really come to appreciate citizen science. I used to think of citizen science as legions of people who were doing kind of grunt work that scientists didn't want to do, and that is not at all what my experience of this has been.
I hope that we can inspire people. I've been inspired by them as well. So I don't really think of myself as a rock star just because I work at NASA. It really takes everybody working together.
When I'm outside and I'm looking at the stars, I'm looking at the northern lights, I'm looking at everything that's happening above me, it is humbling. We're made of the same stuff. I'm a part of everything that's happening in the sky.
I love that the science and the love of these lights is connecting people closely to the earth and the beauty that it offers, especially up here in Canada. Anything that brings people together in an appreciation for what our surroundings and where we live is a wonderful thing.
I hope that we can encourage other people to wonder. We can encourage kids to start to realize that they can make these contributions as well, that they can be part of something bigger, that people in their community, people that they live with, are making contributions to science and to new understandings.
The big problem is that we don't love the land, we don't love nature, we don't love the things around us. Somehow this Steve story has allowed me to reach out to this huge community. And if science writ large can learn to bring what we do in some more beautiful way, more artistic way, more emotional way to people, instead of this dispassionate, very objective presentation of what we do, I think science can help contribute to getting people to love the world more. And if people love the world, people would make better choices, and that means everybody.
Rexy, you get in one of these dinosaur costumes and you can't help but to laugh. Even if you're alone or with your dog. And then I'll just go to the back of the car, get the Rexy suit, put it on and jump in front of the camera for a couple shots and then get out of it. Strangely enough, yes, Rexy is pretty popular out there worldwide, actually.